Hello, and welcome to the Regenerate and Realign Therapist Retreat in Costa Rica info session. My name is Emma. I'm going to be the person leading the retreat, and we're going to jump right in here. So, here's what to expect. We're going to do an introduction to me because I'm sure you're going to be curious who you're going to be spending quite a bit of time with if you sign up. The why behind the retreat. We're going to talk about regenerative living, what that means to me. We'll talk about retreat details, logistics, FAQs, and at the end, I'll go over sign up info and promos and bonuses. So, this presentation is for anyone who's a therapist or in an adjacent profession who's interested in this retreat that's happening in February 2026 that I'm leading in Costa Rica. And my hope is really that whether or not you sign up for this retreat, that this presentation is going to help inspire you and help you reflect on your life in a way that's helpful for you. And I know that if you sign up for this retreat, you're committing to a lot of different things. You are committing to trusting me, you are committing to traveling with me, and you're also committing to learn from me. And so, what I would really like to do with this info session is help you get a taste of who I am, what my teaching style is like, and also what the retreat is going to be like. But if you're just here for the retreat logistics, you don't want any of the background stuff, that's totally okay. Just look below this video for timestamps that I'll be putting down, and you can skip ahead to the retreat details section. So let's talk about who I am. My name is Emma Donovan. I'm a licensed professional counselor. I'm also a board certified holistic nutritionist. I own Alternative Therapy STL. That's my private practice. I also recently founded the Holistic and Functional Psychology Institute. So I'm a functional nutritionist, psychedelic assisted therapist. I'm also a spiritual director. I'm extremely passionate about holistic wellness. I love it. Ask anybody I know. I also love learning, teaching, and traveling. So, a little about my background. I started off as a yoga teacher when I was in college. And from there, I became really interested in the mind body connection. I also became interested in mindfulness. This is what inspired me to become a therapist. And after graduate school, I booked a one-way ticket to Southeast Asia with nothing but a backpack. And I stayed for almost 2 years. I ended up finding a job there where I worked as a therapist and personal growth educator at a place called New Life Foundation, which was a residential mindfulness based healing and recovery center. Overall, I've been to 34 countries. I spent a lot of my 20s traveling, and I'm so excited to share my love for travel with you all. I also love to learn. I'm always studying something. Right now, I'm nearing the end of a Master of Science program in Human Nutrition and Functional Medicine, and I'm also in a doctorate in Whole Health Leadership. That's really tying everything together that I know and love about holistic wellness. And what I've always been interested in is the things that lie on the margins of mental health. The things that are extremely powerful that I think are commonly overlooked. These things often fall into the category of spirit and also body. And so these are a lot of the things that I focus on at Alternative Therapy STL, in addition to the emotions and the mind. And over the years, since I started my private practice, I've had a lot of therapists locally who've reached out to me asking me questions like, how did you build your practice? How did you get brave enough to offer everything that you offer? They asked me for some like mentorship and business guidance. And up until now, I haven't really had anything to offer them other than like an email or coffee session. But after a while, when this had happened so many times, I started to think, okay, there are a lot of therapists who are seeking guidance out there, and they are reaching out to me, and I don't have anything to offer them. But what if I do have something to offer them? So that's part of where the Holistic and Functional Psychology Institute was born, because I want to provide a truly holistic service to you that helps you with your own wellness, that helps you with your craft, that helps you with your practice and your business all at the same time. And those are some of the things that we're going to be looking at the retreat. But we're going to go really big picture here. And I'm going to talk about the problems that we're facing as a field and as a society. I think very big picture. I can't help it. So that's why I'm starting here. So, what are we facing right now? Rising mental health issues. Even though there's more people seeking therapy, there are more people getting sick. Even though a lot of clients do respond to treatment, at least partially or completely, there are a lot of clients who don't respond very well to treatment. There's also a lot of therapists out there who are losing their spark, their passion, and their purpose, the whole reason why they got into this field. And that just really breaks my heart. Also, as we all know, Western culture really values pushing us to work beyond our limits, whether that's our employers are doing that to us or just kind of the culture at large. Or sometimes we've internalized that, even if we have our own business. And overall, what I see is that we're missing the bigger picture. And there are a lot of people out there trying to solve all these problems. You know, there are business coaches trying to help you with your marketing or your niche. There are, supervisors and continuing education providers trying to help you with your skill development. There's life coaches trying to help you, therapists as well with your personal issues. And that's all wonderful. And I love all of that. But the way that I think is there a root cause to all this? Are there things that are actually driving all these problems? Are these problems actually symptoms of something? That's how I think, because I've been trained in functional medicine and just holistic wellness in general. So, what I would like to propose is a different design for how we're living and working, which is a regenerative and holistic one. So, this is creating a balanced lifestyle for therapists while also empowering clients to take charge of their own lives and their own health. Personally, I believe that holistic methods are not woo woo or fringe or alternative. I actually think that they're highly evidence based, at least the way that I would like to teach them. And they're also the future of therapy. And I want to make whole person healing the default rather than the alternative because it's what works, it's what's the most effective. So instead of trying to bail water out of a sinking boat, instead, I really want to ask what is really causing all of these symptoms and what can we do about it? So I believe we're missing the bigger picture. I think all of these different, seemingly unrelated issues about how clients are doing, how we're doing, what the culture is doing, what the field is doing, I think they all have common root causes and how we're living and approaching this field. So I would like to be part of the solution. And if you're here, if you are spoken to by regenerative living, by holistic wellness, by functional medicine or systems thinking, then I'm betting that you also want to be part of the solution as well. So this retreat is called Regenerate and Realign for a reason. I would really like to help you live more regeneratively and also align with what it is that you are on this earth here to do. So we're going to learn from nature here. So in natural ecosystem, each plant or animal has a place. Just by being who they are and how they are, they serve the whole. So plants create oxygen for animals to breathe, and animals create carbon dioxide and other waste that feeds the plants. And this is a balance that can be maintained over the long term, and it has been maintained for thousands and thousands of years. Unfortunately, in recent times, we've departed from this wisdom and it's come at a great cost. I mean, look around us. We're losing biodiversity. Humans are getting sick. The earth is getting sick. The pace that we're going at is really not sustainable. And unfortunately, what we're dealing with is so many of us have forgotten who we are. We're undernourishing ourselves. We're expecting our bodies to perform, but we're not giving them what they need. And we feel like our power and our vitality and our energy is diminished. And it makes sense, right? We're not aligned with who we are, what we're supposed to be doing. We're not giving back to our bodies. How could we stay empowered or vital? But I don't think that it has to be this way. And we have a lot to learn from nature. And if we learn it, we can really turn the whole thing around. So let's do it. We're going to talk about regenerative living, and we're going to use a healthy tree, a fruit tree, as a metaphor here. So, what are the ingredients needed for a plant, here a fruit tree, to flourish? It's really simple, and I think we can learn from it. What we need is the tree itself, so the seed, what type of tree it is. We also have the needs of the tree, so water, sun, space, the proper climate, soil, animals around interacting with it. We need air. And when given all of these things, fruit trees naturally grow fruit for others to enjoy. The fruit tree doesn't have to try, it doesn't have to decide to produce fruit, it doesn't have to know what kind of fruit to produce. This is just natural and native to the tree, it's in its DNA. And whenever animals go up to the tree and they take the fruit, they're not extracting from the tree, they're not costing the tree anything. They're helping the tree because they're spreading its seed around. So when the tree is provided for, everybody wins. And we know that the modern Western system isn't working. So what I think is that we need to do something really differently. And we can start being like these healthy trees. We can become regenerative therapists. So we're going to apply this to humans. We'll start out with the tree itself. So, what this symbolizes to me is who you are. You don't have to try to be the tree that you are, you just are that kind of tree. And what this symbolizes is our values, our sense of purpose or mission that we have in the world, our natural temperament, and our story. And what I like to refer to as that thing you do or the things you do. So, this is what you do naturally without even trying. These are things that are your core gifts that you might not even recognize are your gifts because they come so naturally to you. And I wonder what yours are. Maybe you can tell me about it. Then we'll move down to the needs. So, for humans, we need restoration, we need sleep, nutrition, movement, connection with other people. We need a connection to nature. We need sunlight to regulate our circadian rhythms and our hormones. We also need time to reflect. If we don't get these things, we just are not going to be well. So, just like a plant that doesn't live up to its full health, vibrancy, or potential when it doesn't get its needs met, we don't either. And I'm sure you know this. If you have any plants in your office and you've neglected them, you know that they're not doing well. And you're just like that, but you have different needs. So, when we tie this together, when we know who we are and when our needs are met, we produce fruit. And this isn't a form of giving back that feels like self sacrifice or depleting us. It's something that is truly effortless and abundant, just like a fruit tree. It's just that's what it does, that's what it's programmed to do. So I'd like to ask you to reflect on what do you need that you're not currently getting? And what kind of tree are you? And you might even feel inspired to pause this and reflect or come back later. And I will share a personal story about this for me. So, personally, I learned the hard way what my needs are. So, I spent several years chronically ill. And this is a huge part of the reason why I went on to study functional medicine, nutrition, and whole health. It was to help nurse myself back to health. And I'm very grateful to have been successful at that. I no longer take my health for granted. These needs for me are so non negotiable. And I've broken out of the idea that it's like my needs are my work. My needs don't conflict with my work. They help enhance it and they help me become a better therapist and they help me live in a regenerative way that I can keep doing this sustainably over the long term. And what is my tree? What is the thing that I do or the things I do? So, whenever I get spare time, and this has been true ever since I was little, I am always reading, following my curiosity, learning something, connecting the dots, synthesizing things. I'm always having ideas and creating new stuff. I cannot help it. If I tried, my brain just does this automatically. I seek out things to learn and then I take it in and I mix it up and then I poof and then I make something. And I just love this process. It doesn't feel like it's costing me. I could do it all day. And this retreat itself is part of the fruits that I am producing. So it's the natural fruition of what I've been through, my story with chronic health issues and some other things, also my gifts, my values, my purpose. And I'm really wanting to share with you the things that I love most. So my passion for holistic health and wellness, my love for travel, nature, and also my strong desire that I have for my clients and also for you to help you become all that you can be. And if that's something that inspires you, then this retreat might be for you, because the reality is more like this for most of us. And maybe you know what this is like. Maybe you're there or you've been there. So this is the burned out healer tree. Has no leaves. It has no fruit. You can't even tell what kind of tree it is because it's just branches. And some or all of this tree's needs are unmet. So many therapists, healers, and helping professionals are in this state. And unfortunately, a lot of us think that service equals sacrifice. That's what we might have been taught in school. It might have been what we've seen modeled to us by other people in the field. And, we have a lot of like teachers and supervisors who are here to guide us like with our craft and our skills, but a lot of us are never really mentored to become who it is that we truly are. We don't really know what kind of fruit tree that we are. And when we don't know what kind of fruit tree we are, it's hard to produce abundant, effortless gifts for others. So what a lot of us end up doing is hustling really, really, really hard to serve. We're producing some kind of fruit, not out of abundance or health, but out of lack, depletion, and extraction. Like we're pulling from our own resources and being like, here's some fruit, clients, take it. And then we go home at the end of the day and we're just like, oh, like I'm so exhausted because our needs aren't met, or we're not living in alignment with what we're meant to be doing. So this is unsustainable. We cannot keep doing this. This is why people leave the field. This is why people need retreats. This is why people burn out. And I think that this needs to change. And so that's why I created this retreat, to create a space where you can restore yourself, reconnect to your own wellness, to your deepest self, where you can connect with others, because so many of us are so incredibly lonely in this field, where you can also have adventure, and where you can really reflect on the deep questions like these ones that I'm asking you now, that shape your vitality, your work, and the way that you live your life, and your ability to work sustainably and happily over the long term. That's what this retreat is all about. So it's one thing to cognitively understand all of this, and it's another thing entirely to really reflect on it and internalize it and live it for yourself. So it takes more than just a couple minutes of reflection. It does. So if this speaks to you, I'd really invite you to join me so we can reflect deeply on these topics together, and so you can experience what it's like to have all of these needs met. At the end of the day, I want to see you become the fullest expression of yourself, sharing your fruit, your gifts abundantly with the world from a place of vibrancy and health and not lack. So, what my hope is this retreat isn't just like a 1 week thing where you have a fun time and then you go back home and everything's the same. I want this to be something that changes your life and changes your practice. And when this happens, it creates a ripple effect. Okay. So when therapists live more regeneratively and they take care of their own needs, they show up with more power, with more presence, and more compassion for their clients naturally. And their work becomes a natural extension of who they are. They become models and inspirations for their clients. They're people that really are walking their talk, and everybody can tell. They use their voices as potent vessels for positive transformation. When therapists do this, the world listens. Why wouldn't they? Clients transform, culture shifts, and ideas spread. You may not know it, but you are a powerful shaper of culture. And if you don't believe me, I invite you to think about it. Think about social media. Think about how in the past 5 or so years, mental health awareness has exploded. It's because people are out there sharing about it. I don't know if you know what the actual word meme means. A meme is an idea that is spreading around. And so therapists can be powerful generators of ideas, of memes, and share them. And when we do that, people will listen because people look up to us. They see us as guides, they see us as people who have it figured out. And when you actually figure it out for yourself, it really shows and people can tell. So here's my vision, and here's some things that I believe. You do not have to burn out to succeed. Okay, it is possible to be vibrant, fulfilled, and well cared for as a therapist. And this helps you stay passionate and purposeful in the field over the long term. Another thing I believe is that healthcare has become far too fragmented. We have doctors over here, and nurses over here, and physical therapists over here, and mental health therapists over here, and nutritionists over there, and no one talks to each other, and patients are falling through the cracks. It doesn't have to be this way. We can all become trained more holistically so we can see our clients with a wider lens, and so we can work together better so our clients actually get better. So we can make healthcare whole again so nothing is left out. We can also treat root causes instead of chasing symptoms. This leads to transformational outcomes. When you treat the root cause, the symptoms go away on their own. You don't have to play whack-a-mole. You don't have to teach endless coping skills. It just goes poof if you find what it is that's causing it. And we're going to be talking about root causes at this retreat. So here's what I want to share with you: a holistic, evidence-based education that doesn't ask you to step outside your scope. I have studied widely. I've gotten like multiple master's degrees. I've gone to the Institute of Functional Medicine trainings and sat with doctors. So you don't have to do that. So I can distill it all down into something that is for you, that is aligned with your scope, that makes sense to you. I also want to offer you a like minded community education that is experiential and embodied, not just super heady, like you're sitting in a conference room taking notes, wearing stuffy clothes. I want to offer you the natural world as a teacher. I want to offer you the opportunity to reflect and restore. I also want to show you what it's like to have sunshine, adventure, and immersion in nature in the middle of February, right when you most need it. When I returned home from Thailand, I learned the hard way that having sunshine in the middle of nature is really helpful. I came back from Thailand in November and I had the hardest winter of my life. And I had this big realization that it was the lack of sunshine, the lack of vitamin D. And since then, every single year that I can get to a warm, sunny location in the middle of winter, it just restores me, it fills my battery, and then the rest of winter is like so much easier to get through. So here it is: Regenerate and Realign, the holistic therapy training and wellness retreat for therapists. So I like to think about it like this. So if an eco-friendly and adventurous vacation plus business coaching plus life coaching plus a wellness retreat plus continuing education all came together and had a baby, it's this. This is all of that together. I don't want to just focus on one thing. I want to see the whole, and I want to offer you the whole. So here's what you'll experience. We're going to be doing holistic training. You will earn a certificate in holistic lifestyle medicine for mental health, and also 10 APA approved continuing education credits if you are a mental health professional. Restorative practices. So we're going to have the opportunity to do yoga. It's beginner friendly every day. It's not required. We're also going to be doing yoga nidra together, mindfulness practices, breath practices, meditation together to help you realign and restore yourself. Adventure. So we're going to be visiting a volcanic hot springs, a turquoise waterfall, kayaking, a cooking class. We're going to be hiking together. All of this is optional. If you'd rather just hang out in a hammock and read a book and take a nap, you can do that instead too. It's customizable. We're going to be at an eco-conscious retreat center. It has natural spring-fed pools and also regeneratively, organically raised healthy meals, and also community. So not everyone speaks or listens or cares about what it is that I'm talking about in this presentation. Not everyone cares about living regeneratively. Not everyone is inspired by a holistic mission, but some people are. And those people that are often tend to feel like black sheep. They feel like no one else gets it. And that doesn't need to be your future. Like, you can meet other people who are into this stuff too. And I'm like so incredibly excited to bring together an amazing group of people who think similarly, who are excited about these topics. And I would be so overjoyed if you make lifelong friends at this retreat. So, here are some things that I'm hoping to resolve with this retreat. And these are either things I've experienced for myself that have been painful, or I've heard from other people that have been painful for them. So, a lot of people think that continuing education can be draining and disembodied, like you're just sitting in front of a Zoom meeting, or you're in a conference room and you're like talking about these things, but you're not actually doing them. Also, for conferences, even if they're in a beautiful location, they can be really long days, and they often provide little time for rest or integration unless you really see that built into the schedule. And so you might go all the way to this beautiful place and then hardly ever get the chance to see it, and then you have to fly home. I don't want my retreat to be like that. Another issue that a lot of people have is that personal vacations aren't professionally relevant or tax deductible. And for this reason, they can be kind of hard to justify, especially if you're a small business owner and you don't get anyone paying for your vacation days. Also, some retreats or vacations can have kind of a lack of connection with the land or the country, or they're not really giving back. So here's what I'm proposing that's different. I'm creating a curriculum that is embodied and experiential. It's also clinically relevant. And unlike a personal vacation, it could be tax deductible. And I really want this retreat to be highly connected to the land. Like, I chose Costa Rica for a reason, because the retreat center that I chose, and also the country as a whole, they're so good with sustainability and environmental conservation. And I think that we have something to learn from that. And we're also going to be getting locally sourced organic food on a regenerative farm and staying at a place that really practices what it preaches in terms of environmental conservation. I'm also going to be donating money to plant 25 trees in Central America for every single participant who enrolls. I've been planting a tree for every single client session that I do for many years, and this is something I'm super passionate about. I've planted thousands of trees in my clients' honor, and I'm doing this for you too. The trees are not going to be planted in Costa Rica itself. Honestly, Costa Rica is doing a fantastic job of reforestation conservation efforts. So they're going to be planted in nearby countries like Guatemala and Honduras. And there they're going to support like pollution reduction, carbon sequestration, supporting the local community, and supporting local biodiversity. So you will be giving back regionally just by participating in this retreat. So each day has a theme. This is my proposed schedule. It may change just depending on what's available and, moving parts. So I've carefully paired educational activities with rest, exploration, and excursion. So every day is going to be well rounded. So on the first day, this is ground, arrive. So the first day for week one is February 15th. We're going to start in the evening. So you can either fly in the day before, or you can take an early morning flight on the day of. That's what I'm doing. I booked my flight to leave early in the morning, and it arrives in Costa Rica by late morning. You can do that. That's kind of what I recommend. But if you'd rather come in the night before and stay at an airport, you can do that as well. And then we'll be going to the retreat center. We will ground there, meet each other, and then we'll have an intro seminar and dinner. The second day, I'm really wanting to focus on slowing down, because, it's a journey to get there. And I want you to be able to like enter in kind of easefully. So I don't have like a lot of intense programming on the first day, but you will have the option to go kayaking if you'd like. And then on the third day, the theme is connect. So we're connecting to nature, your body, each other, with an excursion to a volcanic hot springs. I'm like so excited to share that with you all. I've been to this area of Costa Rica before. I've been to some of the hot springs, and they're just so amazing. And day 4, nourish. So we're going to be focusing on nutrition and mental health, taking an excursion to the regenerative farm on site. We're also going to be going to a cooking class. Day 5, move. Exercise and movement for mental health is the theme. We're going to be going to a turquoise waterfall, so we'll be moving our bodies there. All of these excursions are optional, by the way. So if some of them don't speak to you, you don't have to go. Day 6, spirituality and integration. So we are going to be integrating everything that we've learned so far, applying it to clinical practice, and then we're also going to be covering spirituality as a topic. This is non-denominational to like a specific faith background. It's more spirituality to like connect you to a sense of greater meaning or purpose that, you know, can align with a faith background that you already have if you have one or not. These are topics that I think are relevant to everybody. And then on the 7th day, we're going to say our goodbyes and depart. So, curriculum, I'm not going to read all of this to you, but you can pause this video and read it yourself if you'd like. But this is approved for 10 APA credits. A lot of state boards for many professions accept that. I've also applied for NBCC credit. I did that about 3 months ago. I am still waiting to hear back. I think they've got kind of a backlog of applications, but as soon as I hear back about that, I will let all of you know. And so I'll just go over kind of what to expect overall. So, a lot of the modules are going to be experiential embodied. So, we're not just learning from a cognitive standpoint, we're going to be experiencing it. So, for example, like when we're learning about things like breath or yoga nidra or mindfulness, we're going to be practicing alongside learning. So, the experience is restorative for you as well as clinically relevant. And this material is really the culmination of my life's work so far. It's like so special to me to be putting this together because it spans my experience in yoga, mindfulness, functional medicine, spiritual direction, integrative nutrition, and I've really taken great care to teach this to you. So it enriches your life and it enriches your own wellness, but it's also able to be used within your scope because there's a lot of trainings out there about things like functional medicine or nutrition or yoga. And it's amazing information, but a lot of it can't really be used inside the scope of a therapist. So I've taken great care to take like the best of what I know that's easy for you guys to understand, that's going to actually be applicable for you. Here's the objectives. Once again, I'm not going to read these all, but you're welcome to pause this video and read them yourself. What's included? So 7 days and 6 nights at an eco-conscious resort. A lot of retreats out there are like 4 or 5 days, maybe 6 days. And honestly, I've done several retreats. I did a 4-day retreat once, and like, I have to tell you, I was more stressed out after the retreat than before I went. I like needed a retreat from the retreat because it was the schedule, the programming was so packed. And, you know, I don't know if you've ever had this experience before, but it's like you go to a retreat and if it's too short, it's like a whirlwind. And then you come home and you're just like, oh, I'm exhausted. I need like a couple more days off just to recover. And like, what's the point of a retreat at that point? So that's why I'm going for a spacious 7 days. And a lot of retreats will cost what this retreat costs, but they're only like 5 days. But I wanted to offer you more time because I want you to truly have an enriching experience. So all organic meals at the retreat center itself are included. You're going to have access to daily beginner friendly yoga, mindfulness, wellness practices. I'm going to give you a free gift, the certificate in CEs. I'm also going to give you license to use my holistic wellness assessment process, and I'm going to train you in how to use that. You'll also get a retreat handbook, meditations, reflection exercises, scripts, client handouts that you can use. So this will be applicable. This could potentially be tax deductible. And then there's also going to be a free $100 excursion voucher. So the reason why I'm doing the excursion voucher instead of like just having this be an all-inclusive retreat is I sat and thought about it. And I'm aware that like some of you who are thinking about signing up for this are going to be like in total adventure mode. And you're like, I want to do absolutely everything. And some of you are like, I need a break. Like, I'm so burned out. I just want to lay in this hammock with a book and have no one bother me. Okay. So, if you fall on either side of that spectrum or you're somewhere in the middle, you can customize this retreat. And if I had just made this all inclusive, I would have booked everyone for every activity, and you would have ended up paying for things that you're not going to use. So I wanted this to be something where you're very intentional about the activities that you go on, and you get to tell me and you get to pick. And I think that that'll be a really exciting experience for you. And then you'll be able to rest on the times that you want to rest if that's something that's important to you. So your money's going to stretch a lot farther. And this $100 excursion voucher could cover like 1 to 2 activities, depending on which ones it is that you pick. So I did a calculation of what it would cost to go on a retreat and or have a travel planner do everything for you, plus the cost of organic, healthy meals 3 times a day, plus yoga classes 1 to 2 times a day, plus the other wellness practices, room and board, transport to all the activities, continuing education credit and the certificate and the curriculum, plus the business practice and development, plus the tax deductibility. And this added up to about $8,000. But your investment for this retreat is going to be somewhere around 3,000 to 4,400. So this retreat is like around half or maybe even less than half of that total value. But when you bundle it all together, then you're getting it for a lot less. So here's some logistics. So dates, we are confirmed for February 15th to 21st, 2026. I booked my flight. Everything's booked. We're going. People have signed up. We're all excited. I am open to opening up a second retreat week, but there has to be enough interest. So I'm wanting more people to sign up for retreat week 1. And if we start filling up that one, then I'll open up the second one. I plan to know by sometime in October whether I'm going to do retreat week 2. If you know you want to sign up, like if you know you want to come to this retreat, like I wouldn't wait until I open the second week. I would just sign up for the first one, and then I can move you if I open the second one, as long as the first one will also work for you. So investment, I already went over that. It could be as low as 3,000 or even less with the current discounts that I'm offering, but you have to check because depending on the time you're watching this video, you're going to just have to check and see what's current. This is a small retreat. Some room types have already sold out. So if you know you want to come, it's probably a good idea to, just pay that deposit. It's only $495 to save your spot, and then you can pay the rest either in full, or you could also set up a payment plan, and I will help you with that once you set up your deposit. So in terms of the retreat size, like this is not going to be something where there's like 50 people or 100 people at a conference and you're just a number and you're one among many. Like I really want this to be more intimate. So I do have at least one retreat assistant. I might even end up with 2, but we'll have a lot of support, and we'll also have the retreat center staff. But the number of participants is going to be pretty small. Like I'm keeping it around a dozen, I think, because I want you to be able to have personalized attention, ask questions, and feel like a sense of connection with the others in the group and also with me. So some room options, there are private king and queen beds. A lot of those have been taken, so just check and see what's available. There's also going to be shared queen beds and twin beds. The twin beds are obviously going to be the most affordable. So depending on what you want, you could go for solitude, you could go for community. Depending on your budget, you can pick. And one thing I want to say about the shared rooms, if you're like, I don't know if I want to share a room, think about whether you have a friend who might like to come, because you could share a room with them. And I will also give you each 100 off if you refer a friend. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, I'm going to work to consciously pair you with others who I think that you will click with. And I will just share some personal stories. So I've done several retreats or trainings where I was paired with roommates. And I have to say, I have always had an amazing experience. I've never had a bad experience before. And some of those people that I was roommates with, I'm still in contact with, and I still love them. And I'm so glad that I got to meet them. And this retreat, I'm really designing it to call to people who are holistically minded, who are healers, who care about the earth, who are adventurous, who are reflective, who have empathy. So maybe that describes you. And it's probably also going to describe the other people who are going to be coming. And these people tend to mesh well together. And I'm really excited to see the kind of connections that form. And actually, when you have a roommate, it gives you the opportunity to connect like faster and more deeply. Like it seriously can accelerate time to get to know somebody by so much. It's like having a year's worth of friendship like in a week. I know they've done studies and like the ingredients for friendship is like proximity, frequency of encounter. Okay. So like if you're rooming with someone, you're going to have a lot of frequency of encounter. But if you're an introvert and you're like, I'm still like, I don't know. Just tell your roommates like they're healers too. Like they're probably pretty respectful and you can just say that you need some quiet time, or you can bring earplugs, or you can go off, like on the grounds and have some solitude. So I think even if you share a room, there's still totally going to be opportunities for you to have alone time. So, talking about Rancho Margo, this is the place that we're going to be staying. So, I copied this from their website. They say they've quietly and thoughtfully built a regenerative wonderland right in the heart of Costa Rica's thriving mountain rainforest. So, I'm excited about that. It's set on over 400 acres, and the rooms are made with wood harvested from their grounds, which I think is really cool. They go beyond carbon neutral and they're actually carbon negative. So they're actually working to bring carbon out of the atmosphere and back into the soil where it's supposed to be and regenerate the land for healthy plants, animals, and people. And I really resonate with that mission. And so I'm really excited to support them in what it is that we're doing. I'm also really excited to learn from them. Some things to know about Costa Rica. So, we are going to be going in the dry season. It's like the best of all worlds because in the United States where I live, February tends to be when I start to get like kind of stir crazy and I want some sunshine. But in Costa Rica, it's the dry season and it's the high season. So, we're really lucky to have gotten a great place like this at this time. So it might not be completely 100% dry, it might still rain. So bring a couple rain things. But for the most part, the weather tends to be pretty sunny and warm. There could be some clouds, but we don't really know. You never know. But the temperature tends to be like low to mid 80s for the high and then high 60s to low 70s at night. So pretty comfortable. You can bring a sun hat and sunscreen if you're worried about the sun. So the surrounding area, it's in the La Fortuna area, which is where like the cooking class and the volcanic hot springs and like shops and restaurants are. But it is like a little bit more remote. So it's going to have like a secluded feel, but we're going to have access to things. The retreat center itself is surrounded by rainforest. And then the La Fortuna area has waterfalls. It has a beautiful lake. It has a big volcano. So lots of things to do. And then a visa, some people have asked about that. It's not really required if your stay is um, less than 180 days. If you're planning on like moving to Costa Rica, you might need to figure that out. That visa info I just gave is for the United States. So if you live somewhere else, just double check. The currency is the Costa Rican colon. US dollars are widely accepted, and you can also use credit cards in a lot of the places, especially the ones that cater to tourists. I don't think that you're going to have a lot of extra expenses. Only if you do additional activities, go out to eat, purchase souvenirs, want to get a massage. In those cases, you would need to have money, but you can bring US dollars with you. You could exchange them if you need, and then you can also just use your credit card as well. So, for a packing list, I'm not going to include all that here, but I did write a comprehensive guidebook. So, you can take a look at that. There's a whole page in there for a packing list to inspire you. Power outlets, they're the same as the US, so you don't have to buy an adapter. As far as safety, Costa Rica is widely considered to be one of the safest countries in our hemisphere. It's popular with a lot of solo female travelers. I've actually traveled to Costa Rica alone for like 4 weeks straight, and I never felt unsafe. I never had any problems with being in the country. I found the roads to feel pretty safe, and like I felt really safe with the locals. But you're really not going to be alone. Like hardly at all. We're going to be together for the whole retreat. We're going to be doing activities together. So I think that safety is going to be something that you can feel pretty good about. I will say, when we're in public places, just do the things that you would normally do at home. Like, don't be like flashing your passport around. Like, don't leave your wallet or your phone accidentally on a table. Keep your belongings close. Don't bring extra belongings unless you need them, and store your stuff safely in your room unless you really need it for the excursion. But I mean, those are things that you would do probably at home anyway as well for safety. And then also, I'm asking everybody to purchase travel insurance, which really is not very expensive. I think it's like about $125. But in case you do lose a belonging, or in case you do get an injury, like if you scratch yourself, like you're going to be able to be covered if you buy a policy. So we're going to go over FAQs. So if you're not familiar with the practices, it's okay. So if you're a beginner at yoga, you don't even know what yoga nidra is, you haven't done much mindfulness, you're going to be okay. It's all beginner friendly. But if you're experienced, I mean, these things are practices for a reason. That's why we call it a yoga practice or a meditation practice. So you're still going to get a lot out of it, even if you're more experienced. You can absolutely bring a friend or partner. You can share a room with them or a bed. You can even get bring a friend discount. You can also come solo if you want. As far as I know, everyone who's signed up already is solo, that like they don't know each other. So I think that you're going to be right at home, and there's going to be a lot of people in the same boat as you. Is this tax deductible? Probably, but ask your accountant. Will your workplace cover it? They might, if you're employed. So a lot of workplaces have professional development stipends. One person who signed up for the retreat is already doing this and trying it. I generated an invoice just for the continuing education for her. So you can ask your workplace if you can use that. And if you need me to generate you like a specific, like itemized thing, specifically for the continuing education professional development part, I'm happy to do that for you. For Wi-Fi and cell service, a lot of plans nowadays have free international data. It's not the fastest data in the world, but it does work. So you could just check your plan to see if you have that. If so, you don't have to get a SIM card. But you can easily purchase a SIM card at the airport. The retreat center also has Wi-Fi in the common areas, but I would really encourage you to unplug as much as you can. So definitely don't be planning to do virtual sessions while you're at the retreat, even if you have a private room, because you're going to get the most out of this if you really unplug. But if you need to connect to like your clients, if your clients are having an emergency, or your family, your spouse, your children, you'll still be able to do that if you have data and or using the Wi-Fi. If you've never traveled internationally, you are going to be with a group. I'm also going to help you connect with others for rides to and from the airport, so you're not going to be alone. The first time I ever went abroad without knowing anybody, I went with a group, and I am so glad that I did, because it kind of broke the seal and it helped give me a lot of confidence traveling. And I was able to like see so much more than I could have alone. So you'll be with the group. I think you're going to be okay, even if you're new. And if you are new and you're scared, you can just let me know. You don't need to be super outdoorsy. This is eco-friendly. So we are also going to be doing some outdoorsy things. Like we're going to be doing some hiking, walking, volcanic hot springs. And if some of these activities don't call to you, you can sit them out. And then that just means that you're going to have more relaxation time. Like you can just like be at the retreat center and have the hammock to yourself and just kind of read or do some reflection. So if there's any activities you don't want to do, you can just stay back. Do you have to buy your own meals? So the meals at the retreat center are included. I'm also going to have some snacks. If you really want to have your own snacks, or if you want to have the opportunity to eat out, then you will have to pay for that, but it's going to be pretty minimal. Most of your meals are going to be covered. If you have dietary restrictions, The retreat center can help you if you're gluten-free or vegetarian. You do have to tell them in advance. So please don't show up the day of and expect specific meals. But, if you have these restrictions, we can work with those. If you're not a therapist and the retreat calls to you, you are welcome to come. The primary audience is therapists and also other adjacent providers like coaches, nutritionists, nurses, psychiatrists, massage, physical, and occupational therapists. There might even be others, like maybe like people who teach, there might be others that I'm not thinking of who are really like called by the retreat mission and the curriculum. So if you have questions about eligibility, you're free to reach out to me anytime. So yeah, come on down. But the primary audience is therapists. So the curriculum is going to be written with therapists in mind. So just be aware of that. So, will you have to miss work? Yeah. It's going to help you unplug. I think you're going to be grateful that you did. So, retreat week 1 is over President's Day. So, you might only have to take off 4 days. And I really think that this pause is going to pay back a lot in terms of your well-being, energy, and client care. I've read some research studies as well that show that retreats reduce burnout and improve quality of life for mental health professionals. So that's something to think about. If you have more questions, check out the guidebook. It's pretty extensive. You can get that if you don't already have access to it by going to the website, signing up for the email list. It'll be sent directly to you. You can also email me here at this email address. You can also schedule a free retreat clarity call. The link to that can be found in the guidebook and also on the email list. And I think it's also on the retreat webpage as well. So here's some testimonials. These are people who have trained with me, or, done events with me or worked with me in some capacity. So you can read these on your own. If you'd like, I won't read them to you, but these can help you get a feel for me and, the things that I offer. So I know that this info session is getting long. We're almost done. Okay, so one last thing I want to go over is this prophecy that I learned about when I was in Ecuador studying. So this is the eagle and condor story, and it was told to me by a local healer. So this is a story among indigenous communities across the Americas. So in this prophecy, the eagle comes from the north, and it represents the mind, rational thought, technology, and strategy, and it flies really high and really fast. The condor comes from the south, and it represents the heart, intuition, feelings, embodied wisdom, and a connection with nature and spirit, and it flies lower and slower. So, as the prophecy goes, the eagle will dominate the skies for hundreds of years. This will spark invention, intellectual development, and wealth, but it will come at a cost. And so the truth is that neither the eagle or the condor can survive alone, and neither of them are superior to the other. And eventually, there will come a time when the eagle and the condor will fly together. I'm getting emotional. And this unites the mind and the heart. And the collaboration of the eagle and the condor can solve the world crisis. Now, the question is now that time? I think that it is, and I've been told that it is. And we can make it be that time when we unite our minds and our bodies, when we unite the North and the South. And you and I and our group together can bring this to fruition. And it starts with ourselves, and it starts with the way that we're living and the way that we're practicing. So if this vision calls to you, I would absolutely love to have you join me and join our group. The dates are February 15th to 21st, 2026. You can register with just a $495 deposit. This month, I'm recording this in September. You can book for under $3,000. If and when that promo expires, just check the website to see what's current. And just remember, you can bring a friend and each of you will get 100 off. You can also tell a friend. So if this retreat speaks to you, but you can't come, or if you can think of somebody who you think would just love this, tell them. You can send them this info session, you can send them the website, and if they sign up and tell me you referred them, I'll give you $100, even if you are not coming yourself. Because, things like this spread best through word of mouth, through trust. So if you trust me after attending today and your friends trust you and you want to connect us, you could be helping us out both, by having me be able to help them out and have them come and be able to enjoy this experience. So that's it. Thank you for attending. This went longer than I thought it was going to, but I really hope that this info session gave you a well-rounded idea of what to expect. If you have any questions, I'm here for you. I would love to do a retreat clarity call with you, even just to meet you if you're interested in this and answer your questions if you have them. Several of the people who signed up already have scheduled those calls after the fact to talk to me, just to get to know me. So even if you sign up, you can do the retreat clarity call later. So thank you for joining me and sharing your time with me. I hope this experience was helpful for you. Even if you don't come, I hope that you'll reflect on regenerative living for yourself and step more into it. It can be life-changing. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.